I'm really happy to be here with all of you and welcome you to this 2011 release of the National Low Income Housing Coalition's Out of Reach report. And we're really pleased to be here today at one of HomeFront's lovely developments and with a lot of the HomeFront folks to talk about this rental housing issue. Thank you for inviting us here. As usual, this year's data continues to show New Jersey as one of the most expensive places in the country for rental housing for families and individuals. The families know that already. Families and individuals in New Jersey looking for rental housing are well aware of the challenges in the market in this part of the country. We release New Jersey's rental data every year both to inform policymakers of New Jersey's progress or lack of progress in this area, and also to help raise awareness for what some of the solutions need to be. So, as I said, this year is very similar to what it's been, and we have speakers that are going to talk about what some of the solutions are, and we're hoping that we make some progress this year in getting some of the pieces in place that we need to make more rental housing available to New Jersey families. I'm going to turn it over to Kate Cruz now, who's going to introduce our lineup of speakers.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Kate Cruz. I'm with the Housing and Community Development Network, and I would just love to welcome you to our press conference today. This is for the Out of Reach report. We're releasing hot off the press 2011 data. I'd like to thank our co-sponsors, HomeFront and the Mercer Alliance to End Homelessness, and our friends and supporters who are out here, the Princeton Area Community Foundation, and we're hearing Senator Shirley Turner should be coming today, so thanks to everyone for being here. The report is released every year, and it gives us a good picture of the housing needs across the country, the state, and in our county. So we're happy to be releasing the Mercer-specific data today, which is critical to the work that we all do. So we're going to try and keep it short and to the point. Thanks for coming and braving the weather. Hopefully the rain will stay away. We're going to hear from Celia Bernstein of HomeFront, who's going to share with us the specific data. Then we're going to hear personal stories from HomeFront residents who have struggled to find housing and who have benefited from these important services that we're advocating for. And then Herb Levine's going to wrap us up with some advocacy opportunities, and we'll answer your questions afterwards. So thank you so much for joining us here today, and I will introduce Celia.
She has me good and prepped here, lots of stuff, that's good. Again, I'm Celia Bernstein. I'm the Director of Operations and the CFO at HomeFront. I also have taken on the role of being housing developer for HomeFront. Since the year 1999, HomeFront has been developing housing in Mercer County. We have spent a lot of our previous energies in taking care of homeless families and getting them ready to go into stable housing, and had such a problem in finding any place for these families to go that we kind of got forced into the development of the housing. So we are here, and we have not stopped, and we're going to keep going at it. This is our second project actually here on Connecticut Avenue. These are all two-bedroom apartments. We have working families in every one of these apartments who are paying around 30% of their income towards their housing cost, which is the objective that we are all striving to meet. We will take some questions and all that kind of stuff later. I do want to thank the folks here for coming out. Thank my staff for getting the grass cut and the bushes trimmed. All of those kind of good things. And my staff's going to wave their hand right there. Where's Eric? And my role for today is, though, really to talk more about the report as it has come out and some of the facts that are in there. There are copies of some of these because it's hard to take notes when you're standing up. So please be sure and take those with you when you go out. The Out of Reach report. I'm going to wait for the Out of Reach report is published yearly by the National Low Income Housing Coalition using data from HUD and the U.S. Census Bureau. New Jersey still ranks 5th as the least affordable state in the U.S. To gauge affordability, the National Alliance and the network both use the widely accepted measure that no more than 30% of a person's income should be spent on housing. In New Jersey, this means that a family must earn, on average, $24.54 an hour, or $51,044 a year, to afford the fair market rent for a modest 2-bedroom apartment. In Mercer County, the figures are $23.54 an hour, or $48,960 a year. Using the same 30% formula, a New Jersey worker earning minimum wage, which is $7.25 an hour, for a 40-hour week, makes $15,080 before taxes, and can afford a $377 a month rent for housing. In order to afford a modest 2-bedroom apartment in New Jersey, a minimum wage worker would have to work 135 hours per week, or 3.4 full-time jobs. In Essex County, it is slightly less at 131 hours per week, or 3.3 full-time jobs. Even at the mean wage for a renter of $15.82 an hour, a person would have to work 62 hours a week, 52 weeks a year, to afford the fair market rent for a 2-bedroom apartment. In Mercer County, where the mean wage is slightly less, a person would have to work 65 hours a week. People living on Supplemental Security Income, or SSI, get $705 per month and can't even come close to affording the fair market rent for a 1-bedroom apartment of $1,092 a month. However, the affordability crisis, as many of you know, has gone far beyond the minimum wage worker. As you can see from the jobs data on the chart and in your packet, there are large swaths of professionally employed individuals who cannot afford the housing wage in our state. Child care workers, home health aides, and security guards, the very people who are guiding our next generation, making our economy hum and protecting all of us, cannot afford to rent housing in this state. In fact, preschool teachers, emergency dispatchers, dental technicians, and even reporters as a group earn below the housing wage. The housing wage in New Jersey is $24.54. It is a salary someone needs to earn in order to afford the fair market rent. The fair market rent is established by HUD as the amount needed to pay the gross rent of a privately owned, decent, and safe rental housing of a modest nature with suitable amenities. I'd like to point out the county differences, the difference between most expensive and least affordable. Most expensive refers only to housing cost, while least affordable considers both the cost and the wages of the residents in the county. In this way, our data measures the ability of local residents to afford local prices. As you'll see from the data sheets, Bergen and Passaic are the most expensive counties. Passaic is also the least affordable to those who live there. 76% of the renters in those counties cannot afford the local FMR. However, in Mercer County, with 62% of renters unable to afford the fair market rent for a modest 2-bedroom apartment, it is still higher than the state average. The other columns draw your attention to are the estimated number of renters unable to afford 2-bedroom fair market rent and the percentage of total households who are renters. In Essex, where 53% of the total households are renters, the fact that 66% of those renters can't afford housing has greater impact than in Cumberland, where less than 1/3 of the county's population rents. New Jersey needs more rental homes across the state. Overall, 1/3 of New Jersey residents rent their homes. However, they are mainly concentrated in the 4 northern counties: Hudson, Essex, Passaic, and Union. In the remaining 17 counties, less than 1/3 of the residents are able to rent homes. In Mercer County, over 40,000, or 32% of the households, are renters. However, as you know, rentals in Mercer County are mostly limited to only certain parts of the county. So for a medium salaried worker, in addition to rental housing being too expensive, it is also hard to find a place to rent. Almost all of these numbers are up from last year. The plain truth is that New Jersey is still in a housing crisis, yet our political leaders behave as though there is no crisis and no need. Our leaders should read this report, recognize the need, and take appropriate action. Governor Christie's proposed 2011-12 budget has no money to either build or rehabilitate new homes that lower income people can afford. For the third year in a row, he is taking money from the state's dedicated housing fund, the New Jersey Affordable Housing Trust Fund. He is also funding the state's Rental Assistance Program, or SRAP, in part with money from programs to help produce more housing opportunities for struggling families. We're in the middle of a housing crisis, and his answer is to build nothing. New Jersey deserves a better answer. We have a couple of folks here from HomeFront who have agreed to share their stories with you. I appreciate their courage in standing up in front of a group of people, and I'm talking about what has gotten them to where they are for today. The first person who's going to join us is Paula. Paula has been in a couple of different units at HomeFront. We are proud. She has used an SRAP in the beginning when she came to HomeFront. Her income has now risen to the point where the SRAP is no longer applicable for her. We are very proud of that. She is very proud of that. So let us give a round of applause.
My name is Paula Jones, and I was laid off, and I went to HomeFront and asked if they could help me, and of course, as always, they did, and was able to move into a one-bedroom, able to get food, able to get support, encouragement, and my daughter was able to attend camp. She's 13 years old, and it's just, HomeFront is such a blessing, and it's so needed, and I'm just very grateful for HomeFront and all the staff. That's from maintenance to social workers to Connie to just everyone. So helpful, and it really is needed. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you.